Thank you very much. You all look hungry for knowledge and for lunch. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about writing personal statements and how that works for you, to give you kind of a sense of what that means. Most of you come from a place where going to a university is, what do I do to get in? Just tell me, what do I have to do? And so it's like, get good grades, get your national exam, things like that. The way that admissions works in the United States, it's very much more subjective, as you know. And so they're not looking for just one thing. They're looking for high grade point average first, so don't forget that. But they're also looking for a resume, what did you do outside of class, who you are. And that who you are part is where your personal resume comes in. Personal statements for most people are really, really tough. All of us, I think, get a lot of personal statements, and what usually happens is this. A personal statement is usually the following. When I was 4 years old, I played the violin, and I went to a violin concert, and I was really, really good. Then when I was 7 years old, I went to a sports fair for my elementary school, and I got second place in the 100-meter dash. Then I went to 9th grade, I got into this other club and did this, blah, 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 blah. 10th grade I did this, 11th grade I did this. And at the end of all that, the reader of the essay goes, they go, I learned nothing about the person. The hard part of it is for you guys, you're young. And everybody at your age, including people even my age, are always trying to figure out who it is that they really are. And what the universities are looking for is a sense of who you are and how you will fit in the student body that they're trying to create. Universities, especially selective universities, are trying to create a certain kind of student body where the students will be diverse, they'll be interesting, they'll be interested in things, they'll talk about small things and large things both. They're really looking for character. More than anything else, they're looking for character. What is character? Character means who you are, the way that you talk, the interest you have in other people. That's what essentially sums up character, and that's what the schools are looking for. And so when they look for a personal statement, they're trying to say not only who you are, what you're interested in, but how you express yourself, what you're interested in learning, that kind of thing is what they're trying to do. And it's hard for you guys at this point because you're young. You don't entirely know yourself. And so, in fact, nobody really does. But the older you get, the more you have kind of a general idea. Well, I've been interested in this now for, in my case, 65 years, so I guess this is kind of who I am. You know, you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. And so trying to find out who you are is a struggle. My own two kids, for example, one graduated with a bachelor's degree in hotel management. He loved sports, he loved kids. He didn't love hotel management. He worked in hotel management for a couple of years, got bored, then came to us and said, you know, I love kids, I love sports, I'm coaching sports all the time. I should become a high school sports teacher. And he did. And so he took a second degree, got into sports management, into sports teaching. He loves it and he's great. We go to his class every time we visit in Phoenix. And he said, Dad, come to my class. So I go to his class. The last time I saw him, he was talking to a big fat kid. And they were just talking a little bit, and then they started walking a little bit faster. Then they started jogging like this for about half an hour. And they came back, and the kid had sweat like this, and he went, Mr. Jennings, I've never run before in my life. How did you do that? He says, well, you needed to jog because you're fat, and it's good for you. And he says, you talked me into jogging without even knowing what I was doing. And he said, and I look at my son, and he said, you're perfect for this job. You love kids, you love sports, you found the right thing for you. But it took him 25 or 6 years to do that. Your job now, writing a personal statement, is more than that. What your job is to try to get kind of a sense of who you are across to the university. What that really means for you is you have to break it down and figure out, what am I really interested in? Who am I? What do I do in my best moments? What are my best moments? Here's a personal example. I've been traveling for a long time, but when I was in high school, junior high school, etc., I never thought I would travel anywhere in the world. We didn't have money, different time, different era, yet I was doing collected postage stamps, had all this interested in the world, but never traveled. Now looking back, it's like, of course I traveled. But I didn't know that at the time that I was your age. So if I'm 17 years old back in California where I went to high school, I really wouldn't have known very well kind of how to go about doing a personal statement. So your job is this. First of all, start early. If you're doing a personal statement, don't wait until the week before the deadline, and then go to Ellen or Mim or me and say, Ross, here's my personal statement. I know it sucks, but it's due in a week. Can you please help me? Don't do that. What will happen if you do a good personal statement is it will take about a month minimum. And probably the first one, you'll throw it away, no good. You don't do that anymore, it's all on the computer. And you'll have to actually figure out more about what yourself in the first or second way. What you want to do in your personal statement is to think of a story or two in your life that epitomizes who you are and what you want to do. One or two stories is all you need. They don't need to know about playing a violin in fourth grade. They don't need your resume. They need who you are through a story or two that tells about what it is that you want to do. If you have that, that's the place to start. And write your story like you'd write a short story. Just like if you're writing in a magazine, make it interesting. Don't make it dull. You know, and that means when you start with your personal statement, think of it in terms of having what's called a hook to start with. Do you know what a hook is? Okay, a hook is something interesting that will be in the first sentence that will make the person want to read it. Because bear in mind, most personal statements are quite frankly, to the admissions committee, they're pretty boring. And the admissions committee doesn't have a lot of time to wade through your personal statement unless it's good. They normally read anywhere from 300 to 1,000 personal statements. And sometimes you can read 200 a day. If you're writing, it'll be interesting to catch their attention. Otherwise they're going to go, okay, resume. Violin at age of 4, blah, 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 blah. That will then become your resume, or your essay rather, and they're just going to go, okay, it's okay, but not great. At an average university, it doesn't really matter, because they're not going to look all that carefully at that. So if you're going to, let's say, Cal State, Los Angeles, or San Francisco State, or a university that's good but not great, they're probably not going to care that much. They don't really have time. But if you're trying to make the difference between getting into University of Washington and Berkeley, you need to have a good personal statement. It has to be tight. It can't be a cliche, as you'll read from the thing that I wrote. A lot of cliches are, my grandfather was a great businessman. He inspired my life. Because of my grandfather, I too want to be a great businessman and save the world. You'll be surprised how many times you see that. Or I have to show that I care deeply about the world and make everything better. So my inspiration is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a saintly woman that worked in India for years and years and years, giving her heart and soul to poor people in Calcutta. I love Mother Teresa. I want to be Mother Teresa #2. And so I will do everything I can to sacrifice my good for the sake of the world. Love, Ross. Please let me into Berkeley. You don't want to do that either. You really want to get a sense of who you are and what you are in this essay. And you'll find that if you do it right, at first it's going to be a total pain for everyone, including myself when I wrote my essay. Oh God, it's due in a month. I know I have to start now. I really don't want to do this. So 900 words, blah, 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 blah. Ding, 900. Whew, I'm ready. And then a couple of days later, you read that and go, oh my God, this is awful. They're not going to let me into Green River Community College with this essay. And so then what you have to do is go back again and really get some help from the very beginning. When you have your first draft, that's the time to go to your friends or a native speaker, a teacher, an advisor, and go, am I on the right track? That's not the time to go for grammar. It's the time to go, is this the right way of doing things? Am I getting what I'm doing, understanding here? And I'll give you an example of the interest that you have to show in yourself, what you're wanting to do. Some of you have heard this story, but some have not. Years ago, I had a student from Thailand that was studying IT. And so I checked her grades every quarter, and it went like this. First quarter, fail everything. Second quarter, repeat everything, pass. Third quarter, fail everything. Fourth quarter, repeat, pass. So I caught her after about a year, and I brought her into my office and said, this isn't working for you very well. No. Do you like IT? Not really. Are you good at IT? Not really. Well, why are you taking it? Because my brother is paying for my education. He studied IT in America. He has a good job in Bangkok. He wants me to have a good job in Bangkok too. He's paying for it. So I said, well, let's do the math. Right now, fail, pass, fail, pass. So it'll take you 4 years to get a 2-year transfer degree from Green River. Then you go to a university and finish your 2 years there in 4 years, finishing in 8 years together. And then what? Well, then I'll work in IT. Do you like IT? No. So, 8 years to get a 4-year degree to study for a subject you hate. What could go wrong? What's wrong with this picture? So I said, I don't think this is going to work very well. And so we called the brother in Bangkok. The times worked out okay. So we just got the phone out. I said, your poor sister is dying in IT. And she said, you know, I sort of understand that, but it's all I know. It's my best advice because it works for me. And so we asked the sister, what do you really want to do? And she said, well, I need science because it's a good job in science, so maybe engineering. And we said, are you good in math? No. Good in physics? No. So engineering's out. What about some other, maybe chemistry? How good are you in chemistry? I hate it. Okay, chemistry's off the list. And so we went down the various things. What do you really like doing? She said, I love fashion. I would like to be a fashion designer. And I said, well, that sounds good because Bangkok is a center of fashion industry and silk clothing. And so they have a lot of business there for that. And we talked to the brother and she said, yeah, I guess I can let my sister do fashion design. Great. Well, we don't have fashion design at Green River, but there's another school in the city that does. So I sent her to that school. We got her signed up for that school and kind of forgot about it until about a year later, I got a knock on the door in my office here from this girl from Bangkok. She was wearing this absolutely beautiful dress with blue sleeves like that, white and blue dress, big smile on her face like, she looked like an angel, I swear to God. It was absolutely stunning. She was gorgeous. And the smile on her face, it was a cold day in January, the temperature went up 20 degrees from the smile. Because you could tell she loved what she was doing. She was going to her first fashion show in Seattle. And she wanted to show her dress that she had made to me before she went. And I went, you like this, don't you? And she said, I love this. And I go, good for you. You now know what you're good at and what you love. And that, my dear ones, is your job. To start searching through your heart, searching what you're good at, finding something that you love to do, because you can make money doing that. And your personal essay, hopefully, will be able to reflect a little bit of some of this discussion you're having with yourself. You don't always know if things aren't going to go well, but you usually do if they will. When you zero in on something that really makes sense for you, all of a sudden things really hit. And part of the job of the personal essay is to force you to have that discussion with yourself and your loved ones, your friends, your mom and dad, advisors, people that you work with, people that you live with. Have those discussions, find out what it is that you really want to do. And then you can tell the school, this is what I'm planning to do tentatively. Now, you don't have to be absolutely sure. No one is. I told you the story before. When I first came to UC Santa Barbara, I changed my major from engineering to history and Arabic. So I didn't know what I wanted to do either until I took that, and then it was great. But nor did I know at that age what exactly I wanted to do in the future. I remember when I told my mother, I told her I was changing major from engineering to history and Arabic. She said, Arabic? Why do you want to study Arabic? And I told her, I don't know, but it sounds interesting. Pretty much it. And it was a great decision in ways that I had no idea what would happen in the future, truly. But I knew when I made that decision and started studying Arabic, it was really fun and interesting. And so your job then, again, is not only to pick the right major or something that you're interested in, but have that discussion with yourself, what it is that you really love doing. And then suddenly things change immeasurably from that point forward. So, Where do you start? Simple way, you read the essay, have a look, it gives you a sample essay of what I wrote, don't do it now. And then you just start doing the work at least a month ahead of time, if not 2. That means if you're planning to apply to a university that starts March 1st, you start, well, you should already have started. If you haven't started, do it now. And get the advice of one of your advisors or one of your friends, am I on the right path? That's how you do it. Am I on the right path? And then step by step from that point, you move forward and do it. And you think 1 or 2 stories is all you really need. You don't need a whole list of things. But what happens is if you make a resume, the resume, you're trying to put yourself in a position where I really have all this stuff nailed. And you really don't. No one does at this age. So the important thing for you then is to think of 1 or 2 stories that really fits what it is that you're doing, what it is you're trying to do. And I'll just ask a couple people at random. What would you like to do? What is your major right now?
Aviation.
Okay, that's fairly simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you wanted to be, are you looking to be a pilot?
Yes.
How long have you wanted to do that?
Well, my entire life, but it got fogged up by other things.
Okay, so pilot yes, pilot no, pilot yes.
Yeah.
Okay, how's it working now?
Pretty great.
Okay, then you are the lucky one. You know what you want to do. You've known for quite some time what you want to do. Life is good. You can say, I want to be a pilot. Why do you want to be a pilot?
Because I see myself in that cockpit, 32,000 feet up in the air, and that's where I want to be for the rest of my life.
Yes. You are so lucky. Round of applause, everyone. Good. So if you know what you want to do, you're doing it, life is very, very good. I'm going to pick on you next. Tell me your major. What would you?
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry. Have you wanted to be a biochemist also from an early age?
No.
Okay. Well, tell me about your pathway. What made you decide on biochemistry?
I started to learn about biology and chemistry from sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
And then I got interested.
Okay, good. So what do you think you'd like to do as a job?
I want to be a researcher.
Researcher, okay. So you'd like to create the cure for cancer?
Something like that.
Okay. Okay, again, round of applause, guys. Good job. What do you want to do?
I want to be an engineer
Okay. And have you wanted to do that forever?
for at least 3-4 years, yes.
Okay.
For the past 3-4 years. I want to do business down the line,
Mhm.
so I thought that getting some technical knowledge would be a good start for it.
Mm-hmm.
And after maybe doing the job for 2-3 years, I will go to business.
Okay. That sounds good. So you have the technical foundation, then you'll be able to do business with that technical foundation. Okay, that's very well planned out. And if you were to tell the college, your university that you're planning to transfer to about you, if you had 1 or 2 stories, what would one of those 2 stories be? Give me an example of a story you can think of that might explain to the university what it is that you want to become an engineer.
I really like math and accounts,
Uh-huh.
so watching my father do that
Uh-huh.
for very long, I have been interested in business
Uh-huh.
for around 5-7 years.
Okay.
Since I was young, I've been going to the office sometimes.
Uh-huh. So you already have some family background then that will help you with that. Okay, perfect then. So your idea of what you want to do aligns very well with your family as well. You are so lucky. You didn't have to explain to your mom, why do you want to speak it? Why do you want to learn Arabic? Okay, that's good. And for you, young lady, what do you want to do?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
In the AA degree.
Okay, well, you're actually the majority here.
Yeah.
Most people are kind of going, I want to be an engineer, I want to be this. And I don't doubt that it's true in your cases. Most people are not really sure what they want to do. What do you like? I mean, forget school. Just what makes a smile, what puts a smile on your face?
Making art, like drawing,
Okay,
painting.
so art.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's for a hobby.
that's a good hobby, okay. Do you think you can make money doing that?
I don't know.
Hard to say, okay. You might be surprised. My older son also changed major. He was going to be a teacher. decided not to teach and was always pretty good at art also. So he wound up getting a second degree in web design. So he uses his art and his skills doing something now he really, really loves doing. It took him the first degree to understand what he didn't want to do before he found the second degree that he did want to do. And so you can take almost any love or skill and find a lot of ways that you can use it in a job in ways you can't automatically predict. So your job then is to give the university kind of a sense of who you are, and here's what I'm exploring now. It doesn't have to be completely thought out yet. And oftentimes it's better if you just say, I'll admit it, I'm interested in art, I'm interested in a couple of other subjects, I'm not totally sure what I want to do, but here's where I am now, and here's what really ignites my fire. That's perfectly good. If you're not entirely sure what you want to do, you have much more company than you think. Most people in this room are pretty close to that. So, sir, you are next. Yes.
Some major computer science
Uh-huh.
and programming, I guess.
Programming. All right. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been thinking about that for a long time?
Yeah, like 5 years.
That's long enough. Okay. If you were to tell a story, why did you get involved with programming? What would you say? I mean, it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be real. I mean, it can be basically, here's something that I thought of that made me want to get into that. It could be an experience you had back home. It could be a friend that did something related to computing. It could be a teacher, inspiration. It could be an uncle or aunt. It could be just back in 9th grade, it all came together in my brain. I knew I'd be good at programming.
Okay. So I'd say I saw the future in programming.
Oh.
Well, everything's going digital
Mm-hmm.
wherever, so that's where all the jobs are at. That's where the money's at. So that's why.
Okay, good. That's a pretty good reason to do it. So you're interested, it fits in the market, that's great. So what I'd like to do next is go over just very briefly, guys. I don't want to read everything on here, but I think you should know that there are certain things that pertain to writing your essay that are do's and don'ts. I started with the don'ts because it's so common. One of the don'ts is I just said, don't write your resume. Don't just say, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I really want to go to Michigan. You need to have a sense of who you are to make that better. Cliches we talked about. Cliches is something that everybody says. And cliches happen all the time in essays. Here's one that I've seen many times. I've always wanted to study at this university. No, you didn't even know about that university until 3 weeks ago. So you don't want to say something that's completely unbelievable and people won't quite understand. Don't also just think, what is it the university wants? If you think, I want to write an essay to get in, that's why you're doing it. But if you have an idea that the university must want such and such and so, I want Mother Teresa. So I will be Mother Teresa for this essay. The essay committee sees through this. They know all about essays. They really understand that's not who you are, and that's not what you want to do. I told you before, don't wait a week before the essay deadline. Start a month in advance or even earlier than that. And also, you'll be surprised, each one of you in this room has certain things that are unique and special about you may not even know. My younger boy, for example, that was coaching sports for kids, didn't think he was special at all. He was working in a hotel. He said, I love coaching kids, I love sports, but that's nothing special. And we looked at him and said, that is special. You love that. That's where your heart is. You're spending all your free time coaching kids. Why not take it as a job? And so lo and behold, this is a kid who got a 2.4 grade point average at Central Washington University, and he didn't actually major in hotel management. He majored in sports and girls. That was his double major. He was very good in sports and girls, not so good in hotel management. That's how it worked. And then we went from a 2.4 at Central Washington University to a 3.7 in a master's program at Arizona State University. They were thinking, who are you? What happened to my dumb son? he became really good suddenly at the university in a very tough program and rocked. And so, you know, that is something that all of you should consider. You all have a lot more going for you than you think. But it doesn't have to be Mother Teresa. You don't have to impress everybody with, I've done so much. And most of you in high school, you don't have time to do a whole lot of things. Especially if you come to a test-driven program, which is where most of you come from. In China it's called Gaokao. In other countries it's called something different. But it means the national exam for getting to university. The boards in India. Most of you have to do something like that. And so you're going study, 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 cram, 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 national exam. You don't have time for a lot of things in life. You just don't. And so don't try to make up stuff you don't have. Tell people about what you want. And on page 2 here, this I'm kind of laughing about, but I've seen it happen a lot. Most students will write one basic essay and then try to tweak it for universities. And I've had students actually go, I've always wanted to get into the University of Purdue, and then applying to Michigan. Don't forget to change the name of the university. Important safety check. So anyway, the essay here, you can read at length. This is an essay that I wrote years and years ago for my major. And I heard from the instructors that they liked it. The admissions committee liked the essay because I was being myself. And you have, if you rely on who you are, you'll be amazed at how many good things you can do. Finally, as I've said, for your essays, important thing, read the instructions because every essay instruction will be a little bit different. Many of them will be relatively the same. But if they say, tell me A, B, C, and D in your essay, make sure you have A, B, C, and D in there. You don't want to just send the same essay and off it goes. You really want to tweak it for the university and at least make sure that you know how long, what subject should be in there. Tell who you are, not just what you did. I've just said that. Write an outline. The outline is extremely important for you. Don't just go, okay, I have 900 words, start writing 900 words, at the end of 900 words, I'm done. Thank God, I'm done. I'm ready to go. You really want to make an outline first, and that will tell you normally the story first. What story is it, or what thing of interest pertains to the story that you're going to give? Write the essay like a story. Make it interesting. Make it interesting. These poor guys that do all the essay reading, truly 1 out of 10 is a good essay. It's that low. Most of them are, I did this, I did this, I did this. Please let me go to University of Washington. Please, please, please. Please. I've always wanted to go to University of Washington. Or I've always wanted to go to Penn State. Uh-oh, I'm at University of Washington, right? So you really want to make sure that you do that. Make it interesting, original, and succinct. And this is what will take you time. Writing your essay will not happen overnight. You're not going to get it right the first time. I will guarantee you. The first thing that will happen when you write your essay, you will go, yes, I'm finished. Mwah. But you're not. That's your first essay. What you'll need to do is look at that carefully, give it to one of your advisors, give it to one of your friends, and say, is this really any good or not? And recognize that probably the second or third essay is when you will put it together. That's just how it works, because it's hard for every young person, whether you're an international student or an American student, to figure out who are you? What is it that you want to do? That's hard. So you'll need to take probably at least 2 shots at it, maybe 3, before the essay turns out right. Tie the degree to jobs as much as you can, but also tie it to a scholastic interest. Remember, the people that read the admissions committee people are usually scholars, they're usually professors, often they have a PhD, and they're looking for some academic interest you might have. So if you're looking at biochemistry, for example, and thinking about going into research, that's good. People, that fits really well. For pilot, again, it works out very, very well. For IT, that works out good as well. If you're not entirely sure, you might think of some interest you're looking at in addition to just getting a job. Do your homework I mentioned, and start early. So that's basically how to write an essay. It's harder than you think, but once you sort of get the idea, a lot of times you learn more about yourself in writing this essay, and will realize that if you're looking at getting into a good but not great university. If you're looking at getting to Indiana University or Purdue, they're very good schools. But the essay itself is probably not going to be the make or break element for that. If you're looking at more elite universities, Michigan, Virginia, UC Berkeley, that might have the huge difference in getting in or not getting in. Because if you look at the other factors of university admission, University of California gets, I think their acceptance rate for transfer is about maybe 15 to 20%. Most of the students who apply to Berkeley have 3.8, 3.9, 4.0 grade point average. And so a lot of 4.0s don't get in. A lot of 3.8s do. And so you have to say, what is the difference between just the GPA and who gets in, who doesn't? You know, part of it is your resume, what have you done? Part of it is your essay. Because it's really the only place other than grades where the university can say, now I really understand something about this person. He or she now has differentiated himself positively from the pack. Because they have a lot of essays to read, a lot of applications to go through. There's not a lot of places you can really make yourself different. The GPA you need, but the essay or the resume are the things that will put you over the top to do that. The third thing, to be honest with you, about getting into a top university is luck. Part of it's luck. You know, who's reading your essay? Well, the essay reader might really be interested in your scholastic achievements, but you don't have any. So you're out. Or they might be really interested in your sports and personal development. They read your essay, you have a lot about sports and personal development, you're in. That's how it works. It's not like the national exam in India, China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, where you get a magic number, you're in. You don't get the magic number, bye-bye. It's pretty simple. It's really more subjective than that. So here's a chance you have really to get into a top university if you do this right. So I hope that's not too confusing. I hope that helps a little bit in terms of knowing what to look for. So without further ado then, I will ask if anyone has any questions on any of this. Are there any questions? Sir?
Yeah, what if someone gets high GPA but his personal stable was low?
It depends on the university to which you apply.
Like for example, University of Washington is ranked high, top 50.
Okay. It will have an effect, but you don't know what effect it will have exactly. It's a matter of odds. In other words, there's nothing that guarantees you'll get in with a great essay or guarantees you won't get in with a poor one. It just, the odds are greater. So if you have good GPA and your essay is good also, your chance might be 95%. If you have really good grades, but your essay is a stinker, it might be 80 or 75%. That's kind of how it works. Sir?
Do we need to be very modest while we write the essay, or is it sometimes okay to brag about a few of it?
Good question. Good question. It's a very good question because many students will write the resume and talk about violin playing and being the class monitor, blah, blah, blah. It's a blend. It's a blend. You're young. You don't usually have a lot to brag about yet. I mean, you know. I mean, someday you will. You'll talk about, I started a company, we now have 40 employees, we do this, we do that. You're young. So I would say it's really a blend. Use a little bit of humility. If you have to err on one side or the other, err on the side of humility. It doesn't mean you don't mention things, but you can say, I did this really important thing in 9th grade, however, I'm still learning. And that really will be much better, I think, than just saying, wow, I did this great science project in 9th grade, I got prize #1 in the whole city of Nagpur and Maharashtra State, and aren't I great? You can say, I'm still learning, I'm still trying to make things better. It's a nice blend to do that. Very good point, thanks for bringing that up. Okay. Others? Well then, I wish you luck. Don't just write your resume, my dears. Do better than that. And use this experience, hopefully, to find out more about who you are, more about what you really want to do, and be able to express that to the university to hopefully improve your chances and improve your lives as well. So, yes, Kim.
We're going to put a plug in for Baylor University, and I was wondering if you could explain it. So today at 2 o'clock, here in this room, Baylor University admission rep is going to be coming in to talk about Baylor. Would you share Baylor?
I will indeed. Yeah, Baylor is one of our partner university transfer pathway universities, and I believe the GPA requirement is 2.5. It's a top 100 U.S. ranked university in Texas. Very good school. And I would strongly suggest that you come and hear the representative from Baylor talk, not necessarily to go there, but get an idea. It's got a full range of everything from tech to microbiology to business to engineering. Good school. And when you're applying for university, you're most likely to be applying to at least 5 different schools. There's no reason you can't have Baylor in one of those. And it's a very good, it's better than a safety school. But with 2.5 GPA, it is a safety school too. So why not have a top 100 ranked safety school? It's a pretty good safety school. So I really would suggest that you come and hear the guy. We've had a lot of students that have gone to Baylor. They like it. So come.
And then one more. Tomorrow we have UNLV, and that is at 1 o'clock here in IBC 101. UNLV. Do you know anything? It's hospitality management. That seems to be the school that a lot of students want to go to.
Great program. One of the nice things for UNLV, by the way, is it's in the 2-year program that you take there to finish your bachelor's degree in hospitality management or hotel management. They have a very strong internship program, which is required. And the internship program normally runs from 1,000 hours to 1,200 hours. And during that 2-year period of internships, you can make enough money to pay for 1 full year of tuition. Wow. And have great experience at some of the top hotels in the United States. So it's more and more and more popular, and I highly recommend it. It's a great school for hospitality management. It's really one of the best. Hotter than hell in the summertime. Turn on your air conditioning.
And then also we have the transfer fair tomorrow at 2 to 4. So today, 2 o'clock Baylor, 1 o'clock tomorrow UNLV, and then the transfer fair.
Good. Any other last points before you finish your lunch, etc.? Sure.
Yeah, actually I'd like to study medicine. But I don't know what subjects should I take in the first 4 years.
Okay.
So when I want to transfer to university, so what should my personal statement be?
Okay, here's a quick question for you. Who's your advisor?
Mr. Adam.
Sorry?
Mr. Adam.
Adam,
Yeah.
okay? Adam. He's the man that can tell you. Medicine, as you know, is extremely competitive.
No, I mean like how should I, my personal statement be after finishing from university?
Very good question, actually. To be honest with you,
Because you specified some majors like IT and biochemistry.
Sure.
So yeah, I got like information about that. Someone who's interested about medicine.
that's probably a three-way question between you and Adam and myself. It would need a little more time, I think, than I can give to the whole group, I think. But it's a very good question, actually. I would start with Adam, because he really knows his stuff with medicine. And, okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
With the Arabic.